It's a character. I'm aging better.
Brother, there is no need for me to destroy you. Surrender. Surrender your world.
Hi, I'm Louis Barai. I'm here to talk about a movie that really changed my perception of animation and really struck a chord with me as well. I would very much like to share that movie with you.
This movie is called Wizards. It was released in 1977 by 20th Century Fox Film Corporation. It was, I think, the third or fourth movie that Ralph Bakshi here directed. The main idea of one of the focal points of the film is, as you're seeing, we'll let Susan Tyrrell explain to us.
An illuminating history bearing on the everlasting struggle for world supremacy, fought between the powers of technology and magic.
One of the cool things about this movie, it was only animated by a handful of animators. The lead animator was a guy named Irv Spence, who, if you're a cartoon aficionado like I am, know him as one of the four primary animators on the classic era Tom and Jerry cartoons. He was at that studio from 1941 till they closed in 1957. He worked at Hanna-Barbera, and he worked for Ralph Bakshi in the 70s and 80s. Two of the last films he worked on were Tom and Jerry the movie and Cool World, before he passed away. And Cool World's kind of and the less said about Tom and Jerry in the movie the better, but it was kind of nice to see him reunite with Ralph and with the characters he made famous one last time before he left this world.
The film begins with Delia, Queen of the Fairies, giving birth to twin boys. The one on the left representing the forces of good, the one on her right, the forces of evil.
The main hero in Wizards is Avatar. He's kind of a little short, Danny DeVito kind of wizard. You know, you hardly see his eyes, so he's got a cigar in his mouth, holding it with his toes and stuff. He's very old. He's very unsure of himself. He's always loaded, and his journey from the beginning to the end of this film is provides most of the comedy relief, but it's also really, you see him evolve from comic relief to rather unlikely hero.
And this is, if you watched the Incredible Hulk cartoon in the 80s, this is Bob Holt, voice of the Hulk, as the voice of Avatar.
The villain in Wizards is Avatar's brother, Black Wolf. As Avatar represents the powers of magic and nature, Black Wolf represents pretty much the dark side of magic, and most especially the dark side of technology. And there's a real creepy vibe to that character. You know, he's missing the flesh on his arms and stuff. He's a mutant brother. And for those expecting a big battle between those two at the end, you're in for a shock.
Black Wolf's main goal throughout the film is to try and take over the world by using the same propaganda that Adolf Hitler used when he tried about 1,000 years before.
There are several different stories going on at the same time in Wizards. It's a redemption story involving Peace the Assassin. His name is originally Necron 99, but Avatar breaks Black Wolf's hold over him, and Peace tries to redeem himself throughout the movie.
I got stuff planned for you that'll take 20 years to kill you.
If you've ever seen the movie Mean Streets, you might recognize Peace's voice. That's actor David Proval, who had routine with Ralph on Hey Good Looking. And just recently,
Just get
Yeah.
it. You got it?
a bit part, and Everybody Loves Raymond.
Don't be sad, Eleanor. I'll kill that monster as soon as he shows us that projector.
Are you kids ready? You know, this piece here, he knows every step towards Scorch.
One of the other characters in Wizards is the elf Weehawk, who kind of starts off on the wrong foot with Peace, but towards the end of the film, they come to an understanding. He's a spy Avatar sent to Scorch, which is where the mutants led by Black Wolf, for that the capital of the mutant part of the world is at. And if those who watch the Rockford Files will probably recognize Weehawk's voice, Richard Romanus.
The work of Ralph's friend Frank Frazetta was the inspiration for Weehawk's design,
What's that old wizard been doing for
just
4
in case you
hours?
wanted to know.
If he's looking for answers from that assassin, my father's sword can get it quicker than brain reading.
The heroine of this film is the fairy princess Eleanor, whom is one of the subjects of the other story going on within Wizards. It's a love story between Avatar and Eleanor. Avatar, he's afraid to make a move because he's afraid he's too old and he look kind of weird. It plays out in a funny way throughout the film.
Bad magic, isn't it?
Eleanor's design was based on an old girlfriend of Ralph's, who liked his girl's
How
baby.
true! Fairy goddess of the new world. But if they don't show, I think
The third and probably the most major of the stories going on in Wizards is the return of the Nazis via Black Wolf. And that was a tender subject for Bakshi to tackle. He was a Palestinian Jew. He was born in Palestine. And his family left there in 1938, just as the Nazis were coming in. And in the special features of the DVD, I'm showing you clips from, it kind of talks about that. In the commentary, he says that he was visited by German photojournalists, and they asked him why he chose the Nazis as the villains in Wizards, and he said, why not? They got pissed off and they left. It's one of the messages in Wizards that's really far-reaching, was you got to keep your eyes on certain people, or they got to come back and get you. And in that respect, Wizards is kind of a paranoid fantasy if you think about it.
This scene always gave me nightmares as a kid. It's just these poor elves being forced to watch old Nazi war footage while the mutants tortured them like tissue. This scene right here always freaked me out. This poor little kid elf. Yeah, right before they and my mom would freak out too watching this scene. She says, "Why is there blood? Why is there blood? It's supposed to be a cartoon."
And for those expecting a big battle between those two at the end, you're in for a shock.
I'm gonna go ahead and cut this out before I give away the line.
I'm glad you changed your last
Another thing about Wizards, it has an extremely dark sense of humor, as you'll see in this scene here.
The guy lying on the ground,
Get up,
Fritz.
for God's sake, get up!
That's Ralph. That's how Ralph
killed
actually
Fritz.
sounded like back in
They killed
1977.
Fred! Those lousy
The guy
stinking yellow
screaming.
fairies! Those horrible chocolatey-filled vermin!
Is
The
famous
despicable animal
for his
warriors!
appearances on the
They
original
killed
Electric
Fred.
Company.
Take that! Take that! Take that!
It's, rest of the scene.
Max, I'm okay. I'm okay, Max. Just a scratch. Look, am I right? Max.
Oh, damn. There you go again, stepping on my lines, raining on my parade, costing me medals. Oh, damn.
The animation here is by a friend of Ralph's, a guy named Bob
Fritz?
Taylor.
Fritz, get
He's
up,
having
for
to be in
God's
Hollywood
sake,
at this
get
time,
up.
animating the
They
Pink
killed Fritz.
Panther of all people, of all
They
characters.
killed Fritz! Those lousy, stinking yellow fairies! Those horrible atrocity films,
There's another thing that I didn't know about, but you guys probably didn't know about either, is, of course, around the same time Wizards was being made, so was Star Wars. And at certain junctions in the creations of those films, both Ralph and George Lucas went to 20th Century Fox to ask for more money. And Alan Ladd, who was running the place, shot them down. He kind of got away with it with Ralph, you know. Wizards kind of disappeared for a little bit. Came back on video, like I said, around the time I was 12. But Fox took it up the ass with Lucas. You know, you don't do stuff like that to people and get away with it. And it was actually the moderate success of Wizards and the phenomenal success of Star Wars that people said got Alan Ladd thrown out of 20th Century Fox. So some good came out of that idea.
We're looking at some animation here by a lady named Brenda Banks. Went on to animate the Looney Tunes and King of the Hill.
Another thing Wizards is known for is its use of rotoscoping. It used scenes for different war movies made by Fox in the 20s and 30s, early 40s by people like Alexander. Well, one of the movies is called Alexander Nevsky, I think. And Ralph talks about this in the commentary as well. He went to IBM, he got it done cheaply because he couldn't afford to animate the battle sequences the way he wanted to.
Okay, Ralph accomplished this scene here by taking the original film of the original negatives of these films, blowing them up through with help from IBM, and then for a penny a copy, he got it on the cheap, and his animators were able to draw over the images like this, and it made it artistic. A lot of people would later give Ralph grief over pretty much making the original animated Lord of the Rings completely in rotoscope. Myself included. It's not, I don't think it was one of his best films. Give me Wizards any day.
It's a weird movie in a bit, in a way, but what it says is true. You know, you're never too old to fall in love, and you can't trust technology too much, or something like that happens, and you gotta keep your eyes on certain people, especially the Nazis, because if you turn around long enough, give them enough time, they will come back. It's kind of a paranoid movie when you think about it, but what it says is kind of true. Scary, isn't it?